Will Richard Hart fight with the SEC or is he going to settle? Let's check out his tweets and analyze what he is thinking right now and what he might do in the future. On July 31st, Richard Hart was accused by the SEC. So starting off with this was on August 3rd. The right to transact underpins all other rights. The right to transact needs enshrined and protected against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And domestic, of course, he is referring to the SEC. SEC has been targeting almost every other cryptocurrency, XRP, Solana, ADA, and all other coins. And my favorite tweet of all is this. This was on the same day, August 3rd. Check this out. Blockchains are a library. Blocks are people's writing, math, art, speech. Blockchain software is the publishing software you use to publish the speech you have created to the public. The First Amendment protects your right to communicate with your fellow man. Banning the pen would be worse than banning a book. Blockchains are digital pen by which you make permanent, immutable, provable speech to the world. So this shows that Richard is referring to the blockchain as a freedom of speech, and it surely is the freedom of speech because we can do whatever we want in the blockchain as it is the most transparent technology on the planet. And I think this is the most important tweet that everyone has to see. Look at this. Today gas fees on pulsechain is 740 times cheaper than Ethereum, 911 times cheaper than Bitcoin. Hex has been working perfectly for 3.68 years. Pulsechain has been working perfectly for 87 days. And nearly 332 billion pulsex has been burnt from the beginning. So Bitcoin is still destroying the environment while pulsechain is saving it. And the latest movie, The Highest of Stakes, has a 8.9 rating on IMDb. So this goes to show how successful the launch of pulsechain and pulsex actually were. And everyone seems to focus only on the lawsuit that was issued by the SEC, but they don't come in and look at all the important stuff, that pulsechain is functioning properly, Hex has been working perfectly from the past 4 years, and pulsex has burned so many coins. Everything that Richard has created has never had a problem. So that is the most important thing that people have to know. And look at this. This shows that Richard Hart has actually become humble. I grew up poor, I lived in a warehouse, I worked hard and eventually raised $27 million for charity, called the Bitcoin top at $65,000 years ago. I did everything I could to help people not get scammed, giving their money to companies that promise you opportunity but deliver you bankruptcy, like Celsius, BlockFi, FTX and more. He predicted all this. And don't drink, don't gamble and don't trade. Consider raising money for charity. And the most important thing, I'm doing the best I can to make the world a better place, and I want you on my team. Be the change you wish to see in the world. So this shows that the humble Richard is actually coming out, and I think the old Richard is actually dead. So on August 14th, Richard Hart tweeted this. You do not custody coins, the blockchain does. You do not send coins. You publish updates to the public database. The coins are right where they always were. You do not have a cryptocurrency wallet. You have keychain. And coming to the most important part, blockchain software is a publishing software. Speech is speech and code is speech. So the SEC is directly targeting our freedom of speech here. So if we understand that, we can actually understand that Richard is actually on the right side. So let's look at the recent tweets right now. Like if you want a constitutional amendment enshrining the right to transact. So this tweet clearly shows how Richard is referring that the SEC is attacking his basic rights. Not only his, our rights, because blockchain is the code. And if anyone tries to mess us with the code, they are messing our freedom of speech. And this can be an amazing argument in court, because the right to transact and the right to share any information in any way that is legal is our basic right. Let me actually tell you what the SEC wants. The SEC just wants a few $1 million from Richard Hart, like it's begging from other creators and investors in the blockchain community. I don't think the SEC has enough funding to go after the actual villains. So they're just targeting founders and cryptocurrency billionaires who actually have the money to pay off the government. And once the SEC receives some money from Richard Hart, I think they'll just leave him alone. The SEC are just desperate here, that's it. They just want some money from someone and they've picked Richard Hart. If he settles here, the SEC might just leave him alone. If he is willing to fight, I'm pretty sure we will win. But I'm not sure at what cost we will win. It might take us nearly 1 year or 2 years to win the case. But if things go as planned and we win in just 4 to 5 months, or we settle in just 4 to 5 months, we might experience this bull market. So you never know what Richard might do, but all these tweets seem to be leading up to fight the SEC. That is what all these tweets indicate. So I'm not sure if he is actually going to fight, and if he does fight, we might actually have a problem, because if the timeline of the case exceeds the bull market, we might miss this opportunity of the bull market. But you never know, Richard might just settle here, and his latest tweet shows that a new front end to run Hex code has been spotted, hexcrypto.com. It appears to support Wallet Connect 2.0, and this new website is actually working very well. I checked it out and it seems to function very well. You can check this out if you want. So, should Richard Heart fight with the SEC or should he settle? Well, I think the community members and the investors usually want him to settle, because comparing with the previous lawsuits, we have seen that if we are willing to settle, we might end this lawsuit in just 4 to 5 months. But if we are willing to fight, we might end up becoming like Ripple. And no one wants to have a price chart of XRP. They have a terrible price chart. So we all hope he settles eventually, but if he wants to fight, we all know he is going to win, because there is nothing that they have against him. We'll just end up winning this. We have more chances of winning compared to any other cryptocurrency on the planet, because Ripple was selling all its tokens when it was supposed to fight with the SEC. But we have had no movement in any of the origin addresses from the beginning. So everything on Hex, pulsechain and pulsex is safe. And Richard, I think he's still talking with his lawyers right now. And I don't think this is Richard himself typing. I think he has a team for this, where the lawyers have restricted him from typing anything which might cause problems in the courtroom if he ever decides to fight. So everything that is here, I do believe he is explaining only what needs to be said out, and other things I think he will show that in the courtroom if he ever decides to fight. But we all hope he settles and everything gets over in the next 4 or 5 months and we actually experience this bull market. So that's it. Thank you for watching and consider subscribing to Crypto Sujan. I'm not a lawyer and this is not any kind of financial advice. Please do your own research, and that's it. Thank you.